Welcome back to the FanDuel TV studios. I'm Dave Weaver, and this is Breeders' Cup Betting 101. And today we're going to tackle horizontal exotic wagers. Unlike their counterpart, the vertical exotic wager that focus on one race at a time, horizontal or multi-race wagers are spread across a sequence of races and require you to pick the winning horse in each of those races. But how many races in a row do you have to be right about? Well, that varies depending on the wager that you select. It can be as few as 2, like in the case of a daily double, or it can go as high as 6, which is literally called a pick 6. But it's not as simple as just picking winners. Well, I guess it can be still, but there are many ways and strategies that you can use in crafting your multi-race exotic tickets to mitigate your risk, help you wager without breaking the bank, and put yourself in the best position to be successful. So how do you choose which wager you'd like to make? Well, multi-race wagers include the daily double, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5, and pick 6, and the core objective is the same for all of them. Pick the winning horses for the designated number of races. Each wager is progressively one leg longer and as a result tougher, but because of the added difficulty, the potential payouts significantly increase. The minimum amount you can bet on these wagers can range depending on the track and how you're wagering, whether in person or online. But generally, the minimum bet amount will be between 50 cents to $1 and $2 in the case of the daily double and pick 6. Once you settle on your wager type, it's time to get into the meat and potatoes, crafting a winning ticket. There are no limits on how many runners you can select in each race. However, it is important to remember that the more horses that you select will result in a more expensive ticket. In fact, let's dive into the math behind how the price of multi-race wager tickets are calculated. It's not rocket science, but then again, you're likely going to need more than just your fingers to figure these out. We can use calculators. Starting with the first leg or race of your wager, you're going to multiply the number of runners in each race. Then multiply that number by the base wager. So let's take this $1 pick 5 ticket, for example. In the first leg, the bettor selected 3 runners. In the second, they picked 2, and then they singled in races 3 and 4, and then finally finished up with the 5th race using 3 selections. So in other words, 3 times 2 times 1 times 1 times 3 times that $1 base wager, which is going to come to a total wager of $18. It's pretty straightforward, but can become pretty complicated when you add more runners to your ticket. Although you have the luxury of adding as many runners as you like to your wager, it will come at a cost. Take the example we just laid out. If you were to just add an extra runner in both the third and the fourth legs, your ticket would skyrocket from $18 to $72. This is why it is so crucial to try and trim off the fat, so to speak, of your tickets as much as possible and only include runners you believe have an exceptional chance to win. Now, there may be occasions when no matter how hard you try to cut it down, there are just too many runners that you feel have a legitimate chance of winning, and you can't help but include them all. We call that hitting the all button. In instances where you find yourself hitting the all button in one leg of your ticket, it would be ideal if you can identify what we call a single. That's when you're using only one horse to win in that entire field. That way, you can offset some of the cost of your ticket that you've used by going all earlier. So when you can find a single, how do you do it? It's when you're handicapping a race and there's that one runner that you just think is head and shoulders above the rest of the field and totally stands out, and this horse can't lose. That's the one that you want to be your single. Now, what makes multi-race wagers so enticing and a fun wagering opportunity is the potential for a life-changing score. We're talking gobs of money that can be won just by picking a few winners in a row. The payouts for these wagers are determined by the pari-mutuel system, where all the winning tickets share the pool of money collected by all those that wagered. And much like with exactas, trifectas, superfectas, if you can manage to identify a long shot runner that pulls off an upset, your potential winnings will get a significant boost. Take a look at these payouts from just day 2 of the 2021 Breeders' Cup alone. As you can see, the rewards are there for the taking if you just put some skin in the game. Thanks for spending some time to learn about multi-race exotic wagers. Just remember, trim the fat where you can, look for opportunities to pick around vulnerable favorites, and when you cash in on those big winners, don't forget who sent you.